Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Super duper. How are you?
Doing good. I'm glad the weekend is here. I'm excited for another weekend. You know, last couple weeks we've had fun things to do over the weekend, and this weekend we don't have a bunch of plans, so that's going to be kind of nice, not do a whole lot. I'm excited about that. Coming up later in the program, we have a guest. I have an author, Sarah Stewart. She's a really nice lady that has a book called Broken in the Back Bay, and it's interesting because she's a former therapist, and now she's a life coach, and she has this book, and it's really kind of cool because she also does seminars on how to choose whether you need a life coach or if you need a therapist. And then she's got this book too. I was like, well, that's just kind of odd. What a weird mixture of stuff. But I'm really excited to visit with her, Sarah Stewart, later in the program. Also, an annual survey by HR company Mercer reveals that Baghdad is the worst place on earth to live.
They really needed to do. I mean,
yeah, from the file of stuff we probably already knew. Again, Baghdad, worst place on earth to live.
That they spend time on. I mean, don't you think there are more important, pressing matters?
Yeah. This is according to Mercer and everyone else on the planet. So there you go. It doesn't say where the best place on earth to live is, but definitely not Baghdad. All right, coming up here in a bit, we're going to talk about astronomers and a new planet that they found outside our solar system that could contain life. Going to chat all about that on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
For the first time ever, astronomers say they have found a planet outside of our solar system that they say could potentially sustain life. The new discovery has Earth-like temperatures, and it might have water. In galactic terms, it's relatively close. It's a mere 120 trillion miles away, just right up the street. Orbiting a red dwarf star, an astronomer on a European team that found the planet calls it a, quote, nice discovery, but adds, we still have lots of questions. So
that's kind of exciting. I mean,
it is. It's pretty cool. They're saying, hey, there's another place out there that we could go if we needed to, go on vacation.
Once we destroy our planet completely, there may be another option.
We have other options. We could go on an intergalactic journey. Everybody jump on the big old intergalactic bus. It doesn't have the name. I was hoping they'd have a name for it. I wonder what they're going to call it. Or do they have it?
It's probably just the guy who found it.
Yeah.
Maybe Ted or something.
It's Ted's planet.
It's just Ted.
Well, it's a European.
Welcome to Ted.
Welcome to Ted. I don't know. It doesn't have the name in here. That's very disappointing. Coming up, we got some fun stuff we're going to talk about. We've got a guy that calls himself an artist in the news. Also, a lady whose wig didn't fool the customs folks. Her brain on drugs was more like drugs on her brain. And then we have our moment of duh. All of that on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
Oh, it's true, because you heard it on the radio. This guy calls himself an artist, Michael Fernandez. He has an exhibit in the Halifax, Nova Scotia area, and he had some people scratching their heads. He's an artistic statement that he put together was nothing more than just a banana perched in a gallery window still, just all by itself.
All right.
Nevertheless, Michael's original price tag was $15,000. Again, this is just a banana laying there. He later
Has it been preserved in some way?
Don't think so. He later dropped the price to $25,000.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, Michael changes bananas every day. He eats the old one and places a progressively greener one out to demonstrate the bananas. I don't understand at all what this guy's up to here. The kicker is he actually had two different collectors place holds on the, quote, work, requiring the gallery co-owner, Victoria Page, to call them and make sure they knew what the heck they were getting. She said, you understand it's a banana, right? Just a banana.
Because they could do that themselves and eat a new banana every day and just set a different one out.
I'd really like to place a hold on this work. I love it. It is just amazing. You mean the banana? Michael's lunch. That's what you wanted to pay $2,500 for. Originally, he asked $15,000. But here's the crazy thing: somebody's willing to pay $2,500 for a banana. This guy stops by the market each day and grabs a banana.
That's ridiculous.
Lays it in the windowsill and has a price tag at $2,500 on it. I love art. I really do. I love art. But there are some art that I don't get. And this is art that I don't get. Because I don't know why you'd pay $2,500 for a banana.
But it's edible art.
Oh, there you go. Well, now I get it. Let's go buy some of those. All of a sudden I have a hankering for a banana. All right, there you go. You know this is true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A British woman's bulging wig didn't fool a customs agent in Norway. This is where this happened. She said, I'm just having a bad hair day. Well, she was having a bad day, all right. The wig was concealing more than 2 pounds of cocaine
Oh, my God.
that she had stuck to her head. Customs agents detained her on suspicion of cocaine smuggling. The bag of cocaine was glued so firmly to her real hair, police had to take her to a local hospital to have it surgically removed.
Oh, my gosh.
A court ordered the woman to be held there pending a formal indictment and trial. So,
What is wrong with people?
We always say this is your brain on drugs. Well, this was
literally her head on drugs.
No, it was drugs on her brain. It was like glued very close to where most people would have a brain. What was she thinking? She thought that she was going to be able to just skate right through and not have an issue. She glued a bag of cocaine to her head and then stuck a wig over the top of it. She's like, I look just fine. I don't know what you're talking about. This is an updo. This is the way women wear it nowadays. That's an updo, all right. It's up the river do for a long, long time. Well, either way, this is your brain on drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Now your moment of duh. What would you do if you found a bullet in the middle of a street? Would you pick it up? Maybe.
I probably wouldn't even think twice about it if it was just a bullet.
You just pick it
in the
up.
middle of the street.
But what would you do with said bullet? Well, North Philadelphia 14-year-old found a bullet in the street. He wanted to see what would happen if I hold this over an open flame on my stove.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you might be wondering what the odds are that one person in the world who doesn't know that it's going to explode if you put it over a flame would be the guy that found it. Well, guess what happened? The bullet exploded. It hit the boy in the chest and the face.
Oh, my God.
Luckily, the injuries were not as serious as they could have been. He's treated and released and is our idiot of the day with our moment of duh. Kids, if you find a bullet, I'm not saying don't pick it up. Maybe tell an adult about it.
Yeah, first of all, kids shouldn't be messing with bullets
this
at all,
kid's 14.
unless you've been properly trained.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you find that laying somewhere, let somebody know. Don't just leave it lay there. But if you do find something, you certainly don't hold it over the open flame on a gas stove and say, I wonder what's going to happen when I cook this thing.
Wow.
Don't do that with anything. I can't think of a single thing you could find in the street that would be acceptable, unless it's a s'more. If you find a s'more in the street.
You shouldn't be picking up a s'more that you found on the street.
What's that?
No matter
S'mores?
What it is you find on the street.
Where'd you find
Do
that?
not take it home and cook it.
This is a street s'more that I found here. Okay, those don't exist, so don't do that either. All right. I think I get my own moment of duh. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day. That's on the way. Also, later in the program, Sarah Stewart, author of Broken in the Back Bay. Going to be chatting with her on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. An Australian teacher who won a $20,000 TV game show is going to buy some new shoes for her students. How cool is that?
That is cool.
200 students will get a pair of sturdy shoes to get them through the winter because of this Australian teacher. She won a TV game show, won $20,000, and she said, I got 200 students that need shoes.
That all need shoes?
Yeah.
Really?
So she teaches in a school that's a little less privileged than others, and she said, you know what? That's a good use of some of this money. I think it'd be really cool if a shoe company would come out and say, you know what? awesome idea. We're going to give those shoes, and we're going to give you some new shoes, too. You keep your money.
Yeah,
if I owned a shoe company, I would do that. Do we own a shoe company?
We don't.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was pretty certain of that.
In fact, our kids could probably benefit from from the shoes.
Could she? Two more pair. A Russian bodybuilder is in the hospital after asking a friend to stab him in the stomach because he claimed that my abs are so good, they're knife-proof. Turns out, no, they're not. They're just regular abs.
I wonder if he's going to turn around and try to sue the abs of steel people.
These abs are no longer
false advertising.
That's not steel.
I was told I would have abs of steel.
These are just plain old regular abs. They're not impervious to metal. All right. Authorities in L.A. are, at last report, looking for a burglar who accidentally took a selfie with his victim's iPhone. Police say the thief entered a home through an unlocked door and grabbed a phone, but he accidentally hit the video app. The crook briefly recorded himself standing in the living room before he took off with the device. The owner of the phone remotely accessed the video. Police have released it. Authorities say they don't know what the thief's name is, but they do know exactly what he looks like. They're hoping somebody else can put a name to that face so they can go to his house and say, hey, Guess what? You're a moron. The CDC would like to remind us that kissing our pet chickens could spread salmonella. So, folks, quit kissing your pet chickens.
Yes.
I mean, if it's just a peck, apparently that's one thing. So, it must be more than a peck.
Kissing causes salmonella. We already know what choking your chicken causes.
Only if you're kissing your pet chicken. So we're going to just keep on moving here. Motorists who use cell phones while driving are more likely to engage in additional dangerous behaviors like speeding, driving drowsy, driving without a safety belt, and sending text or emails, according to a survey conducted by the AAA Foundation for the Traffic Safety Council. More than two-thirds, about 69% of licensed drivers reportedly talk on their cell phone while driving within the last month, despite the fact that nearly 9 in 10 respondents, 89%, believe other drivers using cell phones are a threat to their personal safety. I agree 100% with that whole...
I know you do.
I got nowhere to go on that because I'm going to move on. That was just, hey, public service. There you go. Even worse than Facebook, the worst thing for your relationship is a lack of sleep. A study suggests that a lack of sleep tends to prioritize ourselves over our partner and makes us become complete jerks. We forget little things like saying thank you. Oh, hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Just in case I haven't said that lately. The study out of the UC Berkeley found that if you slept like a baby, but your partner didn't, you'll probably both end up grouchy. Because you got enough sleep, but they didn't, or they got enough sleep, but you didn't.
I agree with that.
So they're just saying, both of you, get enough sleep, and both of you, be nice to each other. Hey, people who smoke take at least 10 years off of their life expectancy, according to a study from the New England Journal of Medicine. 10 years now is what they're saying.
Huh.
So it's expensive, and it takes 10 years off your life.
I don't know how they could possibly know how many years. Is there
anybody out there that still thinks smoking is okay for you?
No, I don't think anybody thinks it's good for you. But how can they say
these are not healthy?
It took 10 years off of this person's life.
I don't know.
That person.
I think what they did is
you never have any idea.
But I think what they're doing is they're saying, okay, these people that all died from smoking-related causes, and these people that didn't smoke, that lived in the same community, they lived 10 years longer than these people. I think that's how they do it. I'm just guessing.
But that doesn't take into account family genetics.
Don't know. Hey, moving on to the strange law. It is illegal to change the clothes of a storefront mannequin in Georgia with the shades up. So you have to put the shades down before you change the clothing. You can't make a mannequin naked in the front window of a store in Georgia. You have to put the shades down. That's decent. That makes sense. Because I suppose a naked mannequin could cause traffic problems or something. So there is probably some sense made of that.
I suppose.
All right. Coming up here in a moment, we've got a guest, Sarah Stewart, talking about Broken in the Back Bay. That's her book, and it's on the way. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for joining us on the John and Heidi Show. I've got a special guest right now joining me. I have Sarah Stewart with Sarah Stewart Consulting, and you've got a book called Broken in the Back Bay. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. Tell me a little bit about this book. What is it about?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Super excited to have
Broken
you.
in the Back Bay is actually a fictional tale that takes place in the Back Bay, which is a neighborhood in Boston, Massachusetts. And it's about 4 professional single women who kind of wind up in the same group therapy. And they all kind of are frustrated with the normal things that single women are frustrated with, work, relationships, that sort of thing. Yeah. But it gets really interesting because they all kind of inadvertently get wrapped up into a interesting white-collar crime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a fun read.
That's very cool. Now, in addition to writing books, you go around all over the country and speak at events talking about the difference between people who need a life coach or need time on a couch seeing a psychiatrist. And when you have that kind of insight, it's got to make it really interesting when you put a book together, doesn't it?
Well, I hope so. I hope the readers think so. Yes, I've been in healthcare for 20 years, and I was a therapist for a number of those years. And recently, over the last 2 years, I just got trained and certified as a coach. And so those two things are very different, and I actually got coached to finish my book, which is why I got interested in coaching. But being a therapist as well, I kind of, there are 2 very different professions, and a lot of people ask me, which one do I go to? How do I know what I need?
Yeah, when do I need a coach, and when do I need time on the couch?
Exactly.
And how do you know? How do you know if there's maybe somebody listening that's going through something in their life right now, and they're saying, boy, I just need to talk to somebody. How do you know if you need to talk to a therapist, or if you do need just somebody like a life coach to help you through it?
Right. Well, typically what I say up front to people is if you're having a major trauma, something, you lost a parent or a spouse or, any kind of big grief or traumatic event, then I recommend a therapist. If you have any major mental health concern or substance abuse, then definitely I recommend a therapist. But the other thing is, too, is a good coach will refer out. So you could call a coach and just kind of present the issue over the phone, and they can ask questions and help you out and to see whether or not they'd be a good fit or if you would need a therapist instead.
So I guess my question is, if I take the coaching route or if I take the therapy route, sitting on the couch, is the coach route and the couch route going to take me to the same place, or am I going to end up in 2 completely different places?
You can, if you have a similar issue, sometimes get to the same place, but the major difference is that when you are going through therapy, you're kind of looking at why you're doing something, why I'm doing this behavior, why do I keep finding the wrong man. You're looking at why you are doing this behavior, why am I afraid of things. With coaching, we're kind of looking at what do you want to do and how are we going to get you there. Nice. So we're really looking at moving you forward. We're not looking at the past. We're not going to look into past events that maybe is the reason why you're reacting to situations now. You're just going to tell me what you want to focus on, and I'm going to help you get there.
So I guess a simple way to say it then is therapy would be looking back at the past, trying to figure out why you're making these decisions, but coaching is looking to the future and building a plan towards the future.
Exactly.
Very
exactly.
Cool.
And it's coaching is a lot of work, and we really kind of break down a lot of things into measurable and achievable goals, which is something that I always tell people up front. Whatever you want to accomplish, you kind of have to look at it as to how do I know that I've done this? Nice. If you said to me, John, Sarah, I want to increase my self-confidence, I'd say, okay, well, what does that look like? What would that look like to you if you were all of a sudden a really confident person? What would you be doing?
I think my wife would tell you, I don't need any more confidence.
Right?
That might be dangerous.
How do I tone it down, Sarah?
Yeah.
How do I tone it down?
Now, quickly, before we let you go, I want to get back to Broken in the Back Bay, this book. Now, if maybe there's somebody listening that loves to read, how would you categorize this book? What would you categorize the book as?
It's fiction, contemporary woman.
And again, it's called Broken in the Back Bay. And who would you say is the ideal reader for this book?
Any female who's going to be hitting the beach soon. It's a great beach read.
There you go.
Anybody who's a single professional, relationship issues, likes some mystery and crime, it's a great book for you.
Awesome, Sarah. We're going to send them out to get it, but I suppose we should find out where can they get a copy of Broken in the Back Bay?
Amazon.com.
Again, Sarah Stewart right there, and she's got the book Broken in the Back Bay. Sarah, thanks for taking some time to chat.
Thank you so much for your time, John. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you for listening on a Friday. It's the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, the 21st day of August. It is Men's Grooming Day. You know they don't have a Women's Grooming Day because women groom every day.
Pretty much.
Men do it once a year. Guys, don't forget, today's the day. Also, it's Poets Day. Wasn't there just like a poetry day like a week ago?
I don't know.
There was.
So, yeah.
Because I remember saying I like poetry, and you said, you do? You didn't think I liked poetry. So
I've never seen you read poetry. So
I do all the time.
You do not.
It's Poets Day. So that would have been poetry for the poetry. Today is for the poet himself or herself. So if you're a poet, today's your day, not just the poetry day. Anyway, it's National Spumani Day. What is Spumani?
Spumante, like with a T, or Spumani?
Spumoni. Spumani.
Oh, I have no idea.
And it's Senior Citizens Day today as well. So get out there and celebrate however you want. I have some grooming to do, so I'm going to go do that. It is a special day, the 21st day of August.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thank you so much for listening. Hey, before we get to this, I just want to let you know, I did check out Spumani because I was told that it is a dessert. How did I not know that? It is I'm going to read to you here. A molded Italian ice cream made with layers of different colors of flavors, usually containing candied fruits and nuts. That sounds yummy.
That is something I would probably try. I'm not a huge ice cream fan.
Yeah, it sounds pretty
but
darn
I would
good.
probably try it if it has
There you go.
Yummy stuff layered in it.
Well, there you go. It is Spumani Day. That's why I wanted to check that out. Now, back to this. Over here, we've got back to school shopping. High gas and food crunch results in less spending for back to school, according to a survey from Deloitte. Due to economic concerns, 71% of Americans plan to spend less on back to school this year. It says, in addition, a whopping 90% say they're going to change their back to school items. Things that they would usually get, they're not going to get. 79% will buy more back-to-school items on sale. So they're saying, I got to get the stuff. I'm waiting until it goes on sale.
Yep.
70% say they're only going to buy what they need for their family. 68% say they're going to buy more lower-priced items. So things that maybe are either generic brand or on sale or whatever. 53% say they're going to use more store coupons. 46% will shop at different, less expensive stores than usual. 45% will put off buying certain items for as long as possible. 27% will research more products online to find the best price. 83% said they'll spend less on clothing. 48% will spend less on shoes.
Let's just sum it up with people are going to spend less on back-to-school shopping.
I'm almost done. 30% less on backpacks and books. Almost a third will spend less on supplies. And then there's always people like my wife that'll buy everything at the dollar stores.
I will. If I can find it there, that's where I'm buying it.
Our kids, you're walking into school, they're like, wow, I can't believe it. The glue is spelled wrong on your glue. It's not GLU. Where'd you get that? I don't know, but it's only $1. Your trapper keeper doesn't trap or keep. There's something wrong with this stuff. Yeah, but my mom got a deal on it. That's all that matters. She had a coupon, so. So there you go.
Laugh, but
hey, their education quality hasn't changed a bit.
Send 2 kids back to school every year for $12.50.
Let's go back to school on a budget. We only have one going back to school now.
We
so
do. So I should be able to do it for $6.
All
right. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
If you're a firefighter, you probably get to see some interesting things. You know, you go to a scene and you find
very
something.
Dangerous things.
Yeah, but you go to a scene, you find something on fire, and you have to know that people are dumb. You know, how'd you catch this on fire? I don't know. What was the one that you had? There was a guy making French fries.
French fries on his stove with a cookie sheet. He filled his cookie sheet with
and they caught the
grease.
place on fire. That's dumb. Don't do
And then
that.
they left and went and played video games while the fries
That's
were
even
cooking.
dumber than dumb. Well, this guy here, this is firefighters were called to an apartment in Fargo, North Dakota after hearing a report of a smoke and a noxious and terrible odor coming from a window. Rather than it turning out to be a fire, well, it was kind of a bit of a fire, but there was not really a chemical leak or a big fire. It was the owner of the apartment burning his hair. He said once a year, he takes all the hair that he has saved from his haircuts and he burns it in a skillet.
Ew.
Why? Why would you do this? He cooks his hair. He burns his hair in a skillet.
Ew.
Once a year. I don't know what the procedure is. You might want to hang around and check out what else this guy's doing, because that just sounds weird. This sounds like the beginning of every Forensic Files episode I've ever watched.
Have you ever smelled burnt hair?
Yeah.
It is awful.
Uh-huh. And he lives in an apartment.
Oh, my
He's not getting his deposit back. All right. Coming up, we got a preacher in Africa who thinks he can walk on water like Jesus. Let's see how that works out. It's coming up in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
All right, I've got an interesting story here about a preacher in Africa that claims that he can walk on water like Jesus. What do you think, Heidi? You think he can do it?
I sincerely doubt it.
All right, well, we're going to find out. Now, first of all, I just want to make sure I say this. I believe that Jesus did walk on water. You know, when you read the Bible, I believe that Jesus was here. There's actual physical proof that he lived on this planet. He was here. It's a historical, proven thing. And I do believe that he performed miracles.
Sure.
I do believe that he walked on water. But I don't believe this guy. In, Libreville, Gabon, Africa. Evangelist preacher Frank Kabele, Kabele.
Doesn't sound like an African name, does it?
No. I don't know. I guess, who knows what... I'm not really from Africa. I don't know what they name people there.
Aren't they like...
I don't. This could be a different part of Africa. You are so... Would you just... Where's your microphone switch? He announced to his congregation that he had a revelation. I cannot believe he just said that. He had a revelation, and that if he had... that he felt that he had enough faith that he could walk on water like Jesus. So he took them all to the beach, saying, I am going to walk across this Como estuary. Now, this is a big body of water. It takes 20 minutes to cross by boat. So he said, I'm heading over there. I'm going to walk across this. A witness said he got to the water, which soon then passed over his head. So he did not walk on water. So,
No, I wouldn't assume that he could.
well, I wish you the very best, young man. And I'm glad that he's reading the Bible and all, but that doesn't mean because you read it in there, it doesn't mean you can do it. Just saying. Thank you so much for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1 plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
The most spammed states. You get spam if you live in these states. A study by web security company Message Labs has found that Illinois residents get the most spam, more than anybody in the entire United States. The study analyzed spam traffic on a state-by-state basis. Now, let's talk about what spam is. For those of you that are going, you mean that delicious ham-like treat?
Delicious.
No, not that. What this is, spam is email that you don't sign up for. Like,
Sure.
you just get on a list and they start sending it.
Right.
So this is like modern-day junk mail. I get a lot of junk mail. In my email. I get a lot of spam. I just delete it. I don't open it. So I don't know if my stuff counts onto this number or not. But the state-by-state basis found that 92.1% of all email addresses in Illinois were made up of spam. 92.1% of all email to addresses in Illinois are made up of spam. So they only get 8% of their email is not spam. The least spammed state was Montana. 77%. Overall, the U.S. is still receiving more than its fair share of spam. Global spam rates are at 81.5%, whereas the U.S. as a whole is at 86%. The top 10 most spammed states. Number 10, Alabama. Number 9, Pennsylvania. Number 8, Texas. Number 7, Indiana. 6, North Carolina. Now, here are the top 5 most spammed states. So far, these are kind of all over the country.
Yeah.
I don't see a pattern here. Number 5 is Wisconsin. That's up north. Number 4, New Hampshire. That's northeast. Number 3, Oregon, northwest. Number 2, South Dakota, north, like in the center of the country. And Illinois, again, was the number 1 state, kind of north in the center. Huh. So if you look, it's kind of states across the northern portion of the country get more spam than people in the southern portion of the country. But other than that, geographically, it's all over the place. So I wonder why spammers are choosing these states.
I have no idea.
Because it's not even like, some are big metropolises and some are little small towns because, Illinois has Chicago. It's got big cities. But Oregon, that's not known for big cities. South Dakota's not known for big cities. New Hampshire, can't think of a town there. I think they have towns. I've just never been to one. So it's kind of weird. But the most spammed states right there. And if you get any spam, you can thank Message Labs for giving out your address. 'Cause I think you're giving out all these addresses and saying, hey, do you spam these people? You think that's how they do it?
Probably not.
Okay, maybe not. Coming up, we do have some good news as we end the program. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
And we end things on a positive note here. A school project in Oregon is now making a difference in the local community around the school. Centennial High School business students spent the last couple of years converting an old school bus into a mobile food bank. Isn't that neat?
That's nice.
This week, the bus went into action as students distributed 1,000 pounds of veggies and produce and bread to more than 40 families in the neighborhood. The school is partnering with the Oregon Food Bank. The plan is to park the bus once a month in a location where there's a high need, staying within the limits of the Centennial School District.
That's nice.
So once a month, they're going to take it out. I did find a story about this. If you'd like to read the story or go online and check it out, go to our Facebook page. There's a link so you can learn way more than we can tell you about here. That is Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Now, if you don't put in the show, there's a sweet couple.
It takes you somewhere else.
They get I feel bad for them. They sent me a message the other day. Would you quit telling people to go to our page? I've never once given out your page. So go to John and Heidi Show on Facebook. There you go. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Excited for next week. We've got some fun guests that we're going to be chatting with next week. I guess I don't have the list here. I thought I had a list here. But we got some fun guests for next week. Always try to bring you fun guests to chat with, authors and people doing silly things and fun things and all of that. Anyway, we'll get to more of those next week. Thank you again for joining us. You have a wonderful weekend. Get out there and celebrate. Now, school is starting for some people right away, and there's others that have a couple weeks left. If you've got time left, spend some time with your kids. Even if it's just over the weekend, get out there and spend some time with the kids. Our son graduated last year.
Yep.
And he's done with school now. We got a daughter that's starting freshman year, and I just keep thinking, boy, I really wish we'd have spent a little more time with our son this summer because he's all grown up and leaving. I'm like, well, we didn't get to do anything.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to can we do a family weekend this weekend?
No, not
Next
this weekend.
weekend?
Next weekend.
All right,
yeah.
we're gonna do something. We got to get out there and have some fun. Thank you so much for joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. And I used my new razors. I shaved the whole face, not just part of it today. Check that out.
Looking good.
Ding.
Looking good.
All handsome oh yeah, smooth as a baby's bottom. And apparently I turned into Adam Sandler for a second there. I don't know why that happens. But if you'd like to check out their razors, the ones that I'm using right now, I originally started out with their most expensive razors, which are $9 a month. Then I thought, well, let's see what the cheaper ones are for $3 a month. And I tried those. Now I'm doing the ones middle of the road, and they're $6 a month. They're really good, really, really nice. Yeah, if you want to check them out, go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio. They'll bring them right to you. Now I've got some real bumper stickers that somebody has seen somewhere, and they put them on this website. It's kind of fun. Money talks. Mine only says goodbye.
It's pretty much mine as well.
I started off with nothing, and I still have most of it left. Driver only carries $20 in ammunition.
I like that one.
Another one. Driver carries only $10. Wife and kids have the rest. If this is a free country, how come I have to pay for everything?
True story.
That is very cute. All right. And I got a fun story here. Witnessing friends' vacations, love likes, and work successes on Facebook cause envy and trigger feelings of misery and loneliness. Did we just talk about this?
Yesterday.
Yeah. Awesome. What a bonus break that was. I'm going to get rid of that. We're scooting over here to this, something that we haven't talked about yet, have we? With college starting, I have the most and least educated cities. It's just major cities. Most and least educated cities. We got college starting back up for many. And of the top 150 U.S. metropolis areas, these are people over the age of 25 with a bachelor's degree or higher. So the most educated city, we'll get to that in a second. Number 10 is Raleigh, North Carolina. Then Minneapolis, Minnesota, Lansing, Michigan, Boston, Massachusetts, Seattle, Washington, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Number 4 is Provo, Utah. Number 3 is Madison, Wisconsin. Number 2 does not shock me at all. Washington, D.C. I'm glad we have some educated folks there. I wish they would use some of the smarts once in a while. And the number 1 most educated city makes no sense to me. What the heck is going on in Ann Arbor, Michigan?
Huh.
What are they doing there?
I don't know.
Is there something there that they're all going to?
I have no idea. I'm
you
not
would
educated.
expect,
So
well, you would
I
expect
cannot
them like
answer
in the
this.
Silicon Valley or somewhere, but not Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I apologize if you're from Ann Arbor. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm sure you must have something awesome going on. I just don't know what it is. Somebody please tell me. Shoot me a message through our page here and let me know why is it that all these educated people are going there. Now let's talk about the least educated folk. Least educated cities. We'll start at the number 141. Fresno, California. That kind of surprises me.
That doesn't surprise me.
Lafayette, Louisiana. Hickory, North Carolina. Modesto, California. Lakeland, Florida. Beaumont, Texas. McAllen, Texas. Bakersfield, California. Visalia, California, and the last one on the list, Brownsville, Texas. So
all of the Texas ones really surprise me.
only 2 of the bottom 10 are not. I'm sorry, 3. Most of them are in Texas and California. Almost all.
I'm not
of them.
shocked by California, but I am surprised by Texas.
Yeah, so there you go. These are people who don't have college degrees. Now, I want to say this. I don't have a college degree.
Me
I've
either.
probably surprised you by saying that.
You would
You mean the
never
guy
know.
that can't pronounce half the words on my radio program doesn't have a college degree? But I can tell you this. I graduated early from high school. I was accepted into college. I could have gone to any college I wanted to go to. I chose not to go. I got a job. I loved what I was doing, and I just stayed on that path. If I want to know something, I read a book about it, and I get to read that perspective rather than what one person in the front of a class tells me. So I have an education that I have chosen, and that doesn't show up on a report like this. So,
Right.
They would say that I'm not educated, and they could be correct. All right. That's going to do it for our bonus break before I offend anyone else. It is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio.